Commissar Gallus walked over to a chair near the foot of Ogg's bed and sat down. I imagine you have a few questions.
Yeah, how'd you come back from the Emperor's house?
What? You thought I died? Who told you I died?
Um,
The Ogryn thought for a moment, his neural implant beginning to whir as the Ogryn tried to recall.
You said that you was going to the Emperor's house, and then, Biff said you was going to the Emperor's house.
Did no one brief you after the Astara Triangle? The first battle with the bad bugs? Once again, Ogg furrowed his brow, working hard to recall.
Yeah, they said we needed to move out, so we got a new commissar.
So nobody told you? Nobody told you that I was merely severely wounded? Nobody told you that Fletcher would take my place until I recovered and made it back to the front? Ogg shook his head. Fletcher probably didn't know that you hadn't been told. Hell, they might not have even told him. Well, that's bureaucracy for you. People telling the Emperor's orders, I think they got confused. Ogg nodded his head.
That makes sense. I get confused sometimes when I get orders. I got really confused at the end of the battle. What happened? I saw these really shiny guys. They came out of the sky and they killed the bad bugs. Then I don't really remember anything.
Those were the Adeptist Custodies, the Emperor's own companions. I must admit, I know very little about why they're here. Though since the start of the Indomitus Crusade, they've left Holy Terror for the first time in 10,000... for a very long, long time.
The Emperor's friend saved me?
Yes. The garrison at Dawn Citadel came forth to support the offensive. There were severe losses, but with the Custodies leading the way, we were able to break the siege. Once the Hive Tyrant was slain, the ranks of the foul Xenos lost cohesion. The bad bugs got confused when they lost, their Commissar.
Oh, the bad bugs got real big commissars.
Yes. Yes, they do.
What about Fletcher and Biff and everyone else?
Commissar Gallus sighed. Fletcher and Biff are dead. Most of the old squad died with them, as well as most of the company of Lamenters, several regiments of Kriegsmen, a dozen or so knights, scores of armored vehicles. Our losses were quite heavy. I'm not sure who else made it from the squad. I was able to find you because of Fletcher's recommendation that you undergo the bone procedure. So far, I haven't found any other survivors. It was a very difficult battle. Sergeant Lazarus shook his head.
No doubt the high casualty rate will be blamed on the unlucky lamenters, and not on a poor showing by the rear guard failing to defend the artillery.
Unfortunately, that seems to be the case. I've heard the men grumbling about having to work with the so-called cursed Space Marine chapter. On the positive side, the Kriegsmen seem very excited about the opportunity to fight alongside you again, and they never get along with anyone. Lazarus just shook his head again with a rueful grin. The Commissar matched him with a suppressed smirk. Gallus turned back to Ogg. And now, the army is pushing them back to the capital city of Molech. Commissar Gallus could not bring himself to say the name Lupercalia. Lazarus scowled.
I cannot comprehend why they kept that accursed name. How? After 10,000 years, how can they still honor the great betrayer? And why hasn't anyone done anything about it?
Because to do so, one would need to challenge the word of the Emperor himself. A man walked into the ward, wearing the symbol of the Inquisition on his shining power armor. The Commissar and the Space Marine eyed him suspiciously. Believe it or not, before he fell to the ruinous powers, Horus was a humble man. He refused to name his legion after himself, and it was not he who named the great city of Lupercalia. It was by edict of the Emperor that it was named so, honoring the deeds of his greatest son. The Emperor has given no orders regarding the nomenclature of Lupercalia since the heresy, and there is no one with the authority to override the direct word of the Emperor, save the Emperor himself. The sergeant clenched his jaw.
Horus! Humble! The great city of Lupercalia! You, sir, are a heretic of the highest order.
The Inquisitor chuckled. No need to lose your temper, son of Sanguinius. You wouldn't want to make a mess of the Hospitium. The name Lupercalia has become a reminder and a warning to all on Molech that even the Emperor's most loyal subjects may succumb to their own pride and lust for power. I am not certain that the Night Houses really took the lesson about pride to heart. Commissar Gallus stood. Inquisitor. Dorix. You may call me Dorix. Gentlemen, I have a proposal for you.
What scheme are you hatching, Inquisitor?
I am collecting volunteers for a mission. A mission that may determine the salvation or damnation of the entire sector.